Alright, so this video is about the fact that a country that has been buying massive, unfathomable amounts of precious metals, as in gold, in very recent history, as in the last 2-3 years, for sure. And I'm not talking about China, I'm talking about India, because yes, China is too. Matter of fact, China leads the pack. But India has seen such a demand for precious metals, especially gold, in its country, by its citizens, that they've tried all kinds of different measures to stop and get the people to just settle down. I remember even reading where the Prime Minister of Finance, whatever his title was, Finance Minister, was telling the people, calm down, you know, we need, and he literally was saying, word for word, we need to get the people to focus their money on the paper market, or the markets, not precious metals. That was his words. So there was that much demand going on. And you gotta understand, when it is only the benefit of the people who run the markets, the banksters, the elite, who benefit from the rest of us having faith in their system, when in reality you shouldn't have any faith in it, because it's all paper backed by nothing. But they don't make money, they don't live the lifestyles they get to live, unless we are all playing their game in the paper markets. So the people in India have basically been at a point where they want so much precious metals, mainly gold, because that was the one of choice, that they were buying jewelry, coins, you name it, everything. The government was trying to stop them. We're going to levy taxes on imports. We're going to levy higher taxes. We're going to tax this. It didn't matter. The people were hungry for gold. They kept doing it. So with all the greatest and latest measures the government's doing on gold, because it is getting extremely expensive, above the spot price for people to get gold in India, there is now a massive importation. I think the government realized, let's offset this by importing silver now, and let the sheeple start buying silver, because they're going to clean the gold out. So now the country of India is buying so much silver, it's jaw-dropping. When I saw the chart of, like, you know, the last few years, it was like, okay, what's that? It's nothing, whatever. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of nowhere, and months later into 2013, a number that jumps up in the chart that's mind-boggling. Like, you thought it was an error. Someone wrote this chart wrong. It can't go that. It wasn't. There's no way they got that much silver. Tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons, like you can't believe. And this is literally recently is when this has been happening. Recent history here, last couple months kind of a thing. So India has made that move. And if other countries who are experiencing massive rush to gold, who don't have the gold, as we all know, and it's the countries that all practice the same paper game, are seeing the numbers, they know what kind of gold's out there, and they see what's happening, because if people start running to gold and silver, even in these other countries that don't want nothing to do with the US dollar, they still have a problem. They need those people focused on their paper fiat currency of that said country, not precious metals. So they're going to have a problem. So they are trying to focus people into back into their paper markets and Ponzi schemes, basically. Anything paper. But it doesn't matter. People still want gold and silver. So now countries are going to look at India and say, well, they started getting silver. At least let's slow down the appetite for gold. We don't have a choice. We can't stop these people. Let's offer them silver instead of gold. Maybe they'll finally slow down the gold, and then we, the country, we'll start importing the gold heavier duty than before, because then we'll be keeping it all. And we'll let, basically, you know, the sheeple, as the old saying goes, is silver is the poor man's gold. So the countries, you guys can have gold. The sheeple, you guys can have a little bit of gold and a lot of silver. So if other countries say, hey, this looks like it's working, India's the first one to do this. They could import a massive quantity of silver. We need to do the same. And if one other country comes online, so to speak, and starts buying a bunch of silver, we are having times in the last 6 months, let's call that about 7 months, starting in December 2012, where shortages of silver were finally out in the open. The U.S. Mint didn't have it. January came, they said wait till the 7th. Finally, silver came in, unbelievable demand, bought it all up. Another shortage ensued shortly after. Then we had one more little shortage after that. Not necessarily at the mint, but it was extremely hard for people to get silver for a short period of time. Every bullion dealer on the face of the earth basically delay, 3, 4, 5 week delay, blah, 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 because they didn't have it either. So if that's happening, and now all of a sudden India is buying massive quantities of silver, and some other country decides to do it, man, I'm telling you, I really feel like the days are numbered of this thing. And I know, again, it's down 80-something cent, 85 cents silver down, oh my God, today, based on the non-farm payroll stats, which mean nothing. They used to rig the market every time the non-farm payroll stats came out, according to the whistleblower, Andrew Maguire, who brought that evidence to the CFTC, who's been sitting on an investigation for several years now, based on his information, and just can't seem to come to a conclusion. We're still investigating. The reason they're investigating is because the person who is manipulating the market isn't necessarily JP Morgan per se, but as JP Morgan said through Blythe Masters, we have clients. And if our clients have a short position, we're just the vehicle they use to handle their short position or go through, like a brokerage firm, so to speak. And that client, I'm here to tell you, is either the Federal Reserve itself or the federal government, which kind of is the same thing in a sense. So that's the client. So the CFTC regulator is not going to find the federal government guilty of manipulation. So they're going to drag this on. But they may have to come one day and say, you know what, someone's going to take the fall here. And JP Morgan, it's you. Or some other entity will get those short positions. Since the price of silver was $30 not that long ago and now it's $18, people, analysts, whatever, are saying that the silver short position should be manageable now by JP Morgan, so they shouldn't go under or whatever. So who offloaded it? Where did it go? Is all I'm saying, and I don't know the answer to that question. But the bottom line is, you have to know what history shows, because we always repeat history. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to or not, it does not matter. It happens. And history shows us that anytime there's any kind of market or monetary turmoil, gold and silver prices go way up and everyone wants to get on them. And once everyone gets into it, it's usually too late. Prices have already skyrocketed. Which is why I've been doing these videos for the last 2.5 or so years about precious metals and the importance of it. Because it's coming. And then you can get upset if you want at $18, $19 silver prices when you got in at 25, 30, 35, 40, wherever. Or you can say, you know what? This could be technically a blessing in disguise, and I'm going to capitalize on it. The elite are defeating themselves by dropping the price of silver, but they have no choice because they have to drop the price of silver so that they can give a bunch of paper traders margin calls so that they cannot demand delivery, because the amount of gold and silver in the COMEX vaults is dwindling. So they don't want to give it out if they don't have to. They have to beg, borrow, and steal it from other places just to put these little fires out. So when you see the prices get smashed, it is nothing more than a margin call for people to get out of their positions forcefully. Because a lot of times, if you don't have enough money in your account to sustain it, it automatically liquidates out of your control and your contract is gone. So you can't hang on to it even if you want to and wait. Which is why you should be buying physical gold and silver. So that's all I got to say. Take care.